Good evening. I will call the Finance Committee of February 13th, 2024 to order. Second item on our list is the approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the draft minutes of January 23rd, 2024 Finance Committee meeting?
I move approval.
All right, a motion made by Alder Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll place the motion before us to a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Moving on in the agenda, item number 3, public appearances, non-agenda items. We have no one online, correct, Scott? Or any other registered within chambers. Very good. Moving to item 4, Finance Director report, Treasurer's report as of November 30th, 2023. I'll turn the floor over to our Finance Director, Misty Dodge.
Thank you. So included in the packet was the November 2023 Treasurer's Report. We actually had a technological issue, so if you click on the agenda, you can't get to it, but if you download the whole packet, it's there, as well as it's on the city's website, so it is accessible. I don't have anything necessarily extraordinary to point out, but I will pause in case there's questions. Okay. Other things going on, tax collection was a big boom for the finance department, trying to get all of those transactions entered accurately and timely. We collected $77 million during that time. We did have some mail issues. There was at least a full week where we didn't get any mail, real close to the deadline, which was making us nervous, but those issues have all been resolved. Another benefit that we learned about the new software that we used is that there's the 5-day grace period, and we were able to collect ourselves within that 5-day grace period. So people were able to get those receipts really quickly and not have to go down to the county if they were within that grace period. So another customer service piece that we could provide. Other things happening, the new accounting software, the Connect upgrade, was completed late last week. As with any new software, there's some bugs we're working through, but overall, there's going to be some nice kind of small transactional improvements that we'll be able to make because of this upgrade. So thank the council for the funds to invest in that. And then working on end of year and audit, so trying to wrap up 2023. So if you hear me say 23 instead of 24, that's why. I'm living in multiple years right now. And then the PSC public hearing on the water rate case, that happens tomorrow. Once that has occurred, the PSC will put out their final ruling on what our rate increase will be, and then those will be effective in the beginning of April. So things are moving forward. That's it.
Very good. Thank you, Misty. Moving on to item 5, review of bills. 5A, detailed review of checks for $10,000 and above for the period of January 16th through the 31st, 2024, totaling $2,358,673.28. Discussion from the committee. Seeing none, moving on to item 5B, detailed review of all checks issued. Checks 126229 through 126375 for the period of January 16th through the 31st, 2024, totaling $2,512,219.21. Discussion from the committee. Hearing none, moving on to 5C, detailed review of ACH payments for $10,000 and above for the period January 1st through the 31st, 2024, totaling $745,437.54. Discussion from the committee. Hearing none, moving on to 5D, detailed review of all ACH payments for the period of January 1st through the 31st, 2024, totaling $764,648.36. Discussion from the committee. All right, hearing none, we will move on to item 6, action items. First action item is 6A, motion to approve resolution R-08-24, approving 2024 through 2026 median landscape maintenance contract.
I move approval.
All right. Motion for approval made by Alder Wheeler. And who do we have? Scott? We have Scott Endo online to speak to this item. Go ahead, Scott.
Thank you. This resolution approves a 3-year immediate landscape maintenance contract, and this is similar to the 3-year contract that we entered in 2021 through 2023. We did bid it back in June of 2023 with the idea that we needed to get a budget for 2024. We did receive two bids. Johnson Snow Removal was the lowest bidder. And what's nice is Johnson has done this work for the city the past 6 seasons. This contract does include a 5% contingency added in 2025, along with a 15% contingency in 2026, with the anticipation of some additional areas that will be maintained. A bit of information just in regards to the area that was maintained in the previous contract. It was about 43,000 square feet. In comparison to this current contract proposal is about 61,000 square feet. And as I mentioned, it doesn't include a spring cleanup, 12 seasonal weedings, and then a fall cleanup for each season.
Very good, Scott. Thank you. I'll open it up for questions from the committee. Seeing none, I'm sorry, Alder Gerhardt, go ahead.
Scott, do you know how much of an increase this was from our last contract?
Well, the total was last year was $38,426, and this year it was $63,829. But take into account we went from 43,000 square feet to 61,000 square feet, so it was an increase, but a fair one, if you would.
What was that significant increase? Do we have that many streets built that we had that many medians added, or?
Well, these are for the roundabouts and the landscape within the medians. So yes, we did with the previous contract maintain 43,000 square feet of area, and then this contract it was 61,000 square feet. So yeah, we added some significant space.
Wow, thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
Additional questions?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Mayor Radafrada, go ahead.
Is this on or no? So my question, Scott, is why there is a contingency that increased from 5% one year to 15% to the next year?
Well, this is an anticipation of new areas that would be included. Certainly, if we don't receive the additional median, landscapes, and streets, then we wouldn't spend the dollars. We just want to make sure that we've got enough dollars. And actually, we spoke with Tim in Public Works to try to anticipate street projects that will be included in the next 2-3 years. So that the price is the same. The contingency is only for additional space that will be maintained. They'll maintain the same price, but if we do add space, they'll receive additional dollars per that additional space.
Okay, further questions, additional questions? All right, seeing none, I'll place the motion before us to a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Moving on to action item 6B. Do I have a motion to move resolution R-09-24 approving the 2024-2020 through 2026 median mowing contract?
I move approval.
All right, motion for approval made by Alder Gerhardt. And Scott, are you speaking to this item as well?
I can, sure.
All right, very good. Go ahead.
And this is another continuation, or not a continuation, a separate 3-year contract. We did bid the project back in June of 2023. We did receive 3 proposals, and Prime Landscape was the lowest bidder. And they've actually been doing this work for the Parks Department for the past 5 seasons. We added the contingency again for 2025 and 2026. A bit of the detail, in 2021 to 2023, the area that was mowed was 456,000 square feet. And then this current contract is 484,000 square feet. And the last contract, the contractor received $1,465 per mowing. With this new contract, that was received $1,613. And we do, when we put the budget together, we anticipate 22 individual mowings.
Very good, thank you. I'll open it up to the committee or questions. Alder Gerhart, go ahead, you have the floor.
Thank you. Scott, I know we talked a lot about doing potentially street medians with some sort of low-profile plant that doesn't need mowing regularly. I know the staff is very busy, but is that something that Anna or other park staff has had a chance to investigate?
Well, we're working on that, Gabrielle, and I believe 2024, there are dollars in the ARPA TID closure or spending plan to allow us to do that work. So we certainly have got to get going on that, but that is on our radar, if you would.
Do we have a new, because we obviously have a lot of street projects that are coming through. Have we thought about which street projects might be a good candidate for trying something like that out?
We have began to start to think about that, Gabriella. Certainly some of the factors that we're considering is, how much, with the salt and those kinds of things, trying to find an area that would be less, there would be less salt that would be sprayed onto it. Along with, typically we want to, these types of landscapes will provide way stations for monarchs and those kinds of things. So we really want to try and pick an area that might be less traveled, just to try and reduce that conflict between the butterflies and the vehicles, if you would.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, additional questions? All right, hearing none, I'll place the motion before us to a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you, Scott. Moving on to the next item, 6C. Do I have a motion to move Resolution R-14-24, approving urban tree inventory work to include public street tree inventory, Dolly Conservancy Woodlot, McKee and McGough Parks?
I move approval.
All right, we have a motion for approval made by Alder Wheeler. And Scott, are you speaking to this one as well?
I can, Randy, sure.
Okay, very good. Go ahead.
And this was a change order, if you would. You recall, we did receive some dollars to do a street tree inventory, which we did complete. And actually, Wackel Tree Science, we did ask them to inventory the Dowley Conservancy woodlot, which they did do, along with McKee Farms and McGaw Park Parks. And the change order from the original $25,000 was an additional $7,440.75. We did bid the street tree inventory, and Wackel Tree Science provided the same cost per recording for Dowley and both of the parks.
Very good. Thank you, Scott. I'll open it up to the committee for questions, discussion. All right. So, seeing none, I'll place the motion before us to a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Moving on to the next action item, which is 6D. Do I have a motion to approve Resolution R-15-24, accepting an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Fitchburg and the Town of Verona for cost share of design services for Fitchburg Road?
I move approval.
All right, we have a motion for approval made by Alder Gerhart. And who is speaking to this item tonight? Misty, are you or?
Tim should be here, I believe.
Oh, Tim is
right?
online. All right, Tim. Thank you, Tim. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Fitchburg Road has experienced frequent flooding and will be redesigned and reconstructed. The City of Fitchburg has entered into a design services agreement with a design consultant for the said redesign. Fitchburg Road is a boundary road with the Town of Verona, and costs should be shared between the municipalities. We're looking for the Common Council to accept the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Fitchburg and the Town of Verona for a cost share of the design services for Fitch-Verona Road. So we're looking for the town to contribute $33,500 towards the design of the project. Construction of the project will be negotiated separately, and either an amendment to this intergovernmental agreement will be completed or a new intergovernmental agreement for the construction cost of the project would be completed.
All right, very good, Tim. Questions from the committee? Discussion? Alder Gerhart, go ahead.
Thanks. Tim, I'm really glad to see that we did manage to get an intergovernmental agreement for this. Was there a rationale behind the 93-7% split?
We looking through our files, it was negotiated with previous staff from Public Works and the city for that. And, kind of, I guess what we, kind of found was it was approved in the 2023-2032 CIP. But as far as how that number was derived, we didn't find any backup information for that or the reasoning for that.
Is the $444,000 for our share, is that a contractor that we're working with, or is that actually somewhat internal work as well?
It's a private consultant. It's AECOM doing the design services, so that's the fee for them to do the engineering design for the storm, water, the roadway, roundabout, bike paths, sidewalks, curb gutter, drainage, and all of that.
And then do we anticipate that when we will negotiate another one once the cost of the road comes in, to cost share for that as well?
Correct. Yeah. Once we complete the design, we would sit down with the town to go over cost share of that. It would be nice to have the actual bid price, but we'd probably sit down, with the engineer's opinion of probable cost to start the negotiation. And then once bids come in, kind of finalize that number at that time.
And was that previously discussed, like the design services were?
Yes, but a number has not been set for that, but they are aware they're going to have to come to the table with a percentage for construction.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, very good. Additional questions, discussion? Seeing none, I'll place the motion before us to a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Moving on to the next action item, which is 6E. Do I have a motion to move Resolution R-16-24, adopting the 2024 update to the ARPA/TID closure investment plan?
I move approval.
We have a motion for approval made by Alder Wheeler. And I believe the mayor is here. Are you kicking this off, Mayor, to speak to this item, or will Misty?
I can kick it off.
All right, very good.
So the ARPA TID closure investment plan is available out on the city's website under the finance department page. You'll recall this is a slightly different process than what we've done other years. Usually we would have a special finance committee meeting, but we decided to just do it as part of our normal meeting because we weren't expecting there to be too many changes. So if you go to the city's website, you can see the document. It is a very high level kind of wish list of sorts of things we'd like to spend this one-time money on. And when you're navigating the document, using those bookmarks seems to be the best, just like you would in CIP or budget. But for policy stuff, I will leave that to the mayor.
So, okay, thank you, Misty. So, in reviewing this investment plan, I decided to keep everything that it was already on the plan because there are good ideas there, but we don't know. It's about priority, but I think I didn't remove anything. But what I did is I am bringing forward two new initiatives. One is the police impact fee study and implementation. It's about $25,000, and this is something that the council, we have those meetings, and the council, we discuss it in one of the committee of the whole. And the idea to determine if we can implement a new impact fee for the police building. But in order to do that, we would like to hire a consultant to do this. And the other one that is very important, and I wish we can approve this to use it this year, is an education and outreach assistant or a PR consultant for various city projects. Communication is very important for me, and we have a couple of big projects in the pipeline, and I think we need to have, a consultant or someone that doing the communication and the outreach. And I am allocated $50,000 for this consultant to use for, the police service facility, the road construction. We have projects like the hub, the teen center, that we need to continually, inform our residents about this project. And also, and I think that because we don't have the capacity internally now in our staffing, I will see that we can use $50,000 to hire a consultant to do this. That's it. And, but the rest is, I didn't touch anything of the other project.
Very good, very good. I'll open it up to the committee for questions, discussion. Alder Gerhardt, did I see your hand? Yes, okay.
Can you remind us what the amendment process looks like for this?
Yes, thank you. So actually, I'd like to talk all the next steps, if you don't mind. So at tonight's council meeting, we do have our first public hearing. This is where the public can weigh in on the mayor's proposal. And then council amendments are due to me on February 28th. So it gives you a couple weeks to think about if there's any changes you want to make to this plan. We'll turn those around in about a week. And then there'll be a second public hearing at the next council meeting. That will be the public's chance to weigh in on the council amendments. And then that same night, we'll go through all of the amendments. You can amend the amendment just like you can during budget time. We'll go through them one by one, take votes, and at the end, we will have an investment plan. The big difference between this document and the budget is that this, because it's a wish list, doesn't have to balance. So we do not have to, make sure we meet levy limits or any of those other things that we run into at budget night. This can be a true, whatever the council decides is the priorities is what can sit in this plan. And the details of these will be worked out through the CIP and or budget processes.
All right, very good. Additional questions? All right. Seeing none, I'll place the motion before us to a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Moving on to the next action item, which is 6F. We have a motion to move Resolution R-20-24, approving schematic design and preliminary budget for the police services facility.
We'll start with our approval.
Pardon?
I'll move approval.
Okay, thank you. A motion for approval made by Alder Gerhardt. And I will open it up now to the public. We have two that will be speaking. And since you are first to submit, Jim Palmer with the Fitchburg Professional Police Officers Association, correct?
That's correct.
All right.
I'm actually the executive director for the Wisconsin Professional Police Association. For those of you who may not be familiar with us, we are the state's largest law enforcement group. We represent over 10,000 members from over 300 local association affiliates.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm going to set a time limit of 3 minutes, if that's okay.
Yes.
All right.
I will strive for brevity, I promise.
All right. Very good.
Amongst the members that we represent are the officers in the Fitchburg Professional Police Officers Association. I'm speaking on their behalf. We just wanted to formally weigh in and offer our support for Resolution R-20-24 with Option A. A law enforcement agency's primary function is to respond to calls for help. And we think that the Fitchburg Police Department, like many throughout the state, is facing a shortage and a critical staffing challenge. Currently in Wisconsin, on a statewide basis, we have the fewest number of officers since 2008. And that's only when the State Department of Justice began tracking data on that. The staffing challenge currently facing the Fitchburg Police Department undermines the agency's primary focus. It impacts the officer's ability to respond to calls for service, and it threatens to impair the safety of both the public and the officers themselves. It stretches officers exceedingly thin, and it denies the agency the ability to engage in the vital relationship-building efforts that the public supports, such as community-oriented policing. For the last 11 years, our association has been the only law enforcement group in the country to commission an independent, cumulative statewide poll of the public on a wide variety of issues related to criminal justice and policing. And we have consistently found that there is overwhelming support, particularly amongst communities of color, for efforts like community-oriented policing. Unfortunately, perhaps, those efforts do require additional staffing. We've also found that, according to our data and our research, that only 14% of non-white residents indicate that the police spend too much time in their neighborhood. 91% of the public and a majority of both white and non-white respondents agree that having a well-trained police force helps make our communities a safer place in which to live. And so you should have a statement from me. I won't belabor it, and I'll spare you having to read that, but it does make some additional points just about not only the critical need for this resolution, but in particular with regard to option A. I think passing the resolution without option A is just going to perpetuate the additional costs associated with overtime and travel that the agency has to incur and this community has to incur in order to see that officers get the training that they need for, in order to serve the public. And it really, I think, passing the resolution without option A is tantamount to tripping over a dollar, stepping over a dollar to pick up a nickel. I think the resolution as it is with option A, I think, is in the best interest of not only the community, but the taxpayers as a whole. And so I will leave it at that.
Very good, Jim.
Thank you.
On the three-minute mark. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you at council this evening?
Yes.
Very good. Our next registrant is former Mayor Tom Clotter. Welcome, Tom.
Thanks.
And again, 3 minutes.
Tom Clutter, 2583 Norwood Street, City of Fitchburg. A lot of titles, but I'm a resident tonight. I do have a question for Misty. Misty, in reference to tonight's vote, is it 3/4?
It's 2/3.
2/3?
But only at the council level, 2/3.
2/3? So we need 6 votes?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. That's what I thought. Finance, I tell you, when I was mayor, it was called Terra Vesta. And we had everybody from the town of Dunn telling us what to do. These chambers were filled with people from the town of Dunn and the city of Madison. I respected their opinion. I let them talk. But I was aware that the city of Fitchburg takes precedence. The city of Fitchburg is what we're all about. Everybody has an opinion. We understand that. Absolutely. Without a doubt. This topic is seeing a lot of people from Freedom Inc. Freedom Inc. I want to talk about because I won't talk about it tonight. But you three should know what Freedom Inc. is. Freedom Inc. wants a teen center. I've said it before, that's fine. But not today. We can't afford it. Freedom Inc. wants a youth shelter. In the future, no problem. Not today. We can't afford it. Freedom Inc. wants free daycare. I have 4 grandchildren. I have 2 grown daughters. Not today. We need, and I'm talking to all of you, Gabrielle, even when I was on the council, I didn't steer you wrong. You did not agree on things at times. But you know what? I didn't steer you wrong. We need that vote. We need 6 votes. I did watch the committee of the whole. I was astounded, not only of the president, who ran the meeting, but that nobody brought up topics and attacked people what they said. You're lucky I wasn't back here. Wow. What other people said, and it wasn't you three. It wasn't you three. But what other people said, unbelievable. And nobody said anything. I was amazed.
It's been 3 minutes.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you, Misty.
We need you. We need all 3 of you.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Do we have any other registered voters? I will. I'm going to close the public meeting then, portion of it. So, Alder Gerhart, you had a comment.
I'm going to move to refer to council without a recommendation from finance.
Second.
All right. Motion made by Alder Gerhart to refer to council from finance, and we have a second from Alder Wheeler. All right. With that on the floor, I will open it up for a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Now, moving on to the next action item, 6. Get my place here. 6G. Do I have a motion to move Resolution R-21-24 approving purchase of updated wireless access points citywide? And this is a direct referral.
I move approval.
All right, we have a motion for approval made by Alder Wheeler. And I understand it's Nick, correct? Nick Joseph?
That is correct.
All right, Nick, we haven't met yet, but nice to see you on Zoom. Thank you. You have the floor for this item.
Thank you. This one hopefully is fairly straightforward. This is a CIP item. We have a replacement cycle of 5 years on the access points for all city buildings, and we are at that 5-year mark. This will replace all the access points and renew our licensing for the hardware, and that is a proposal before the committee today.
Very good. Thank you, Nick. Questions from the committee? All right. Seeing none, I'll place the motion before us to a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. All right. Very good. Moving on to the next action item, which is 6H. Do I have a motion to move Resolution R-25-24 approving amendment to the agreement for engineering, reconstruction, and maintenance of County Trunk Highway D, known as Fish Hatchery Road in the city of Fitchburg? This is a direct referral.
I move approval.
All right. Motion for approval made by Alder Gerhart. And Tim, you're speaking to this item?
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good. Go ahead.
The city of Fitchburg and Dane County previously entered into an agreement for engineering, reconstruction, and maintenance of County Highway D, which is Fish Hatchery Road in the city of Fitchburg. This agreement was fully executed back on June 11th, 2019. As part of this agreement, Dane County is responsible for up to $8 million of the final reconstruction costs for the roadway. Based on actual final project costs, Dane County's final share of the reconstruction cost is $9,675,000. Therefore, it's necessary to amend the original agreement to establish the county's actual final share of the cost. So we're looking for the Common Council to approve the amendment to the agreement for engineering, reconstruction, and maintenance of Fish Hatchery Road in the city of Fitchburg.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Tim. Discussion, questions? Alder Gerhart.
Tim, what is the process on the county level for this to get approved?
It would go to their board, and go through their approval process and have the county clerk and the Dane County executive sign off on it.
And they will have the budget. I mean, like, is this in their budget for 2024? Or do we anticipate there being an
It's
issue?
in there. They aware of the additional $1.6 million. So we've been working with staff to have this agreement drafted up, and then they'll be taking it through their process as well.
Great. And then Misty, where does this money go?
It goes back into the project. So this work was actually done through 2023, but I can't show it as a revenue if we don't get it within 60 days of the year end. So it'll be a 2024 revenue that will go back into the Fish Hatchery Road project and help. The reason for the additional cost is because the project as a whole cost more. We went through our budget process to account for those additional costs. This now takes care of the county piece.
All right. Additional questions? All right. Seeing none, I'll place the motion before us to a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Moving to our last action item, which is 6I. Do I have a motion to move Resolution R-28-24, amending the 2023 and 2024 General Fund and TID 13 budgets, vehicle building repairs and Syene Road, and this is a direct referral.
I move approval.
All right, we have a motion for approval made by Alder Wheeler. Tim, you're going to speak to this item as well?
Yes. So Resolution R-28-24 is amending the 2023 and 2024 General Fund and TID number 13 budgets. So there's 4 parts to this resolution. The first one is, and out of the 4 parts, 3 is related to 2023, and then the 4th is related to the 2024 budget. So the first 2023 budget amendment is for fire station number 2. We had experienced some additional repairs that weren't anticipated, and we needed to address them. And this made us go over the budgeted amount. Luckily for our public works maintenance facility, what we had anticipated for repairs was a lot less. So there was some additional funding there that could help absorb the increased repairs at fire station number 2. So that's the first 2023 budget amendment. The second 2023 budget amendment is for the public works equipment maintenance and repair. We had some additional repairs that weren't anticipated in 2023. So what we're looking to do is we converted several street lights from high pressure sodium to LED, and this helped result in an energy savings in 2023. So we're looking to move some of that money to help cover the overage for the equipment repairs. And then in 2024, we've already seen a increase in repairs to our equipment. So the 2024 budget amendment is looking to move some money also from the high pressure sodium to LED light. Since we converted that, we're seeing some additional savings in 2024 that can help absorb the increased cost of the equipment maintenance. And then lastly is the Syene Road Phase 1 project. We're looking to move $150,000 and have that funded through TID number 13. This wasn't any additional work. We're just looking to have the TID pay for the work instead of the city. And with that, does anyone have any questions?
Nope, I don't see any questions. Thank you very much, Tim. All right, since there are no questions, I will place the motion before us to a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. That concludes the item 6 action items for our agenda this evening. Next item is item 7, announcements. The next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for February 27th, 2024. Moving on to 8, do I have a motion for adjournment?
I
So
move.
moved.
All right. We have a motion for adjournment. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it, motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.